BYU at number 9.
BYU's come out of nowhere, and everyone's doubted them. Las Vegas has doubted, like everyone's doubted them every week, it seems like. Even now, to me, they're the most complete team in the Big 12.
What's Trending, presented by Tim Daly Ford, part of the Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968. BYU Football, engine number 9 in the first ever expanded 12-team college football playoff poll release. Again, as you just mentioned, Jarom, the more time that you had to digest where BYU was placed and look at their resume compared to more than a few of the resumes that are listed above BYU, it just is unsettling for Cougar football. I feel like this is a Charlie Brown and Lucy scenario, because I went in last night so hopeful that the committee would truly value the 2 ranked wins and the win against SMU, which was looking better and better. And when I saw SMU show up at number 13, I'm like, oh, yep, this
means good things for Brigham.
Great things for BYU.
Nope.
But again, Lucy, as she does all the time, pulled the football from Charlie Brown, and here we are again, upset.
That's a reference for old people. That's us plus.
Just let us kick the football. Oh, Jarom, I'm going to ask the question. I think I know the answer, but was BYU disrespected by being put at number 9 in last night's poll?
Yeah, Doug. When the dust settles, absolutely. I said a couple days ago, I thought 8 or 9 is where they'd put BYU. Yes, I think I was building in my expectation to be disappointed there, I guess. It's unfortunate that brands and style points won out versus the actual games played, the resume. BYU has a better resume than Indiana, Penn State, and even Texas. There are only 2 teams, Spencer, with 2 top 20 wins in the college football playoff poll. It is Oregon at number 1, and it is BYU, who somehow is at number 9. It's frustrating to have 2 quality wins, a top 5 strength of schedule, and have a better resume than a couple of teams in that you're behind. I could see Tennessee with the Alabama win and Texas even be ahead of BYU to round out like the top 5 of Oregon. I'd have Georgia second, not Ohio State, by the way, then Texas, Tennessee. But BYU could have been as high as 6th, and that would have made sense to me. I think if BYU was 8 ahead of Indiana specifically, we'd feel a little better today.
Yeah,
but
for
7 was probably the spot. It's just annoying that style points literally came into play. Literally came into play. Shahan Jayaraja is going to join the program in the next segment. He asked the committee chair about why is BYU behind Indiana and style points and like basically explosive offense from Indiana or Miami and all this stuff was part of that answer. Indiana does not have a top 20 win, and they've beaten everybody by 14 plus because they haven't played anybody. Their strength of schedule is 103.
What's Indiana's best win? Legitimately,
I don't know.
What is their best win? Washington?
I could look it up, but it's not against a ranked team, and BYU has not 1 but 2. I could see if BYU had 1 of these, be like, well, was it an anomaly against Kansas State? Nah, look at SMU and Kansas State. Both are inside the top 20. So this is very frustrating. By the way, among the new top 25 against the new top 25,
sure,
the Kansas State win by 29 is the 3rd largest margin of victory. If you want style points, look at that game. BYU is being punished for having explosive defense and explosive special teams.
Yes.
Offense gets the highlights and the respect. What about explosive defense, Spence? All the picks, the non-offensive touchdowns from the special teams. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And my real concern here is that because BYU is at 9, it would be hard to climb up to a spot where should BYU run the table and lose the Big 12 title game, are they a lock to still be in? I am more concerned today than I was yesterday about that.
You should be. You should be. My biggest issue is not with Indiana. It's with Penn State. I'm looking at what the Nittany Lions have done this year, and I said it before the poll came out yesterday. What's their best win? Illinois? Illinois does not look great right now.
Not ranked anymore.
Is it at USC? They survive a game against USC. They
USC is 4-5.
33-30. Yeah. I know it's tough to win in LA. Long trip.
Oh, but what about Wisconsin? 5-4.
They played Bowling Green to a 1-touchdown game. So you can't give me the, eye test of Indiana is better than BYU because they've destroyed their competition. When you look at what's the eye test on Penn State then? If they survived Bowling Green and their best win is maybe a 3-point survival road win against middling USC.
It's like they value a close loss more than wins. Like the Ohio State game is weighing heavily.
They didn't score an offensive touchdown in that game. I know they were up 10-0 at a defensive touchdown. Well, Penn State did not score on an offensive touchdown against Ohio State on their home field.
Why is Miami 4? BYU literally has a better resume than Miami.
They looked great against Louisville, but they too have survived middling to porous competition at times. Yeah?
And it's okay to win close games against teams that you should have beaten by more. You still won the game. AK Oklahoma State, AK Virginia Tech for Miami. BYU should be higher. And a couple days ago I said, it doesn't matter whether. No, it matters. I was wrong. Like, it matters because the climb, Miley Cyrus, is going to be harder than we think. If BYU wins out, can they lose a game and still get in the playoff if it's the Big 12 title game? Can a 2-loss BYU team, clearly, I don't think will have a shot at the playoff as an at-large, based on what we saw last night as an undefeated. I am really concerned. So BYU's job now, Spence, is to win out, and then they got to win the Big 12 title game. Or go 3-1 and win the Big 12 title game. Like, can they lose the Big 12 title game and still in? I'm not sure.
Hopefully, it depends on how many bid stealers there are on Conference Championship Saturday.
You want the ACC just to have one.
So,
and you want SMU to actually lose? Like, it's tough, man. It's tough.
BYU, if they don't win the Big 12 title game, you do not want any bid stealers. You want the teams that are supposed to win their conference championship games to win convincingly.
We're really just talking about the ACC there, right? Because the Big Ten and the SEC, like, whoever's in that game, both those teams will be in.
Should be. Yeah.
Both those teams will be in the playoff. Right now, it feels
like a lock.
Right now, it'd be like what? Oregon, Ohio State, and then like Georgia, Texas type stuff. So it's like, yeah, those teams are in. And then a 2-loss SEC or 2-loss Big Ten team against a 1-loss BYU potentially. You just feel like the committee is not going to, based on last night, not going to value BYU at the level that we were hoping.
There are very few pitfalls ahead for the teams that are ranked 4 through 8, right in front of BYU.
Yes.
The only team that really has a tough schedule remaining of those 5 teams is Tennessee.
Okay. Starting
they play Georgia.
Teams that have a ranked team left, 4 on. Texas at Texas A&M, Tennessee at Georgia, Indiana at Ohio State, and then Penn State does not.
So what?
Miami does not.
Here's my thing: if Indiana plays Ohio State tough, let's say Indiana
BYU does not. By the way,
let's say Indiana loses a close game, then what do you do with Indiana? They're still in.
Hopefully, they'll fall behind BYU in the rankings though that week. But
you never know.
Does BYU maintain? You have to win. Like, does BYU have to go 13-0 to get to the playoffs?
Like a 1-loss. Here, this is what this tells me: a 1-loss Indiana is going to be ranked above a potentially 1-loss BYU. That's what this tells me.
I don't like it, and I think that's right. Meaning, that's what the committee will do. It's not the right move.
No, but that's where they ranked the undefeated teams of Indiana and BYU last night and cited eye test. And they won all their games by 2 touchdowns. Okay.
What about explosive defense?
That tells me that even if Indiana loses to Ohio State, and I think they will, if BYU loses one game, BYU, with the same record as Indiana, will be behind Indiana.
Unfortunately, the quest for perfection's on, probably. I don't like it at all.
And listen, we're not the only ones with the chapped hides here, okay?
Good for us.
This narrative is being pushed by plentiful members of the national media and notable ones, specifically Greg McElroy, who immediately went to bat for BYU last night.
On the show, in the middle of it.
As soon as the Cougars came in at number 9.
Yep.
And I quote Greg McElroy, the former Alabama quarterback and national champion.
Who's been on the program, who came to a BYU camp in high school.
He's awesome. He says, if I'm BYU, I'm really upset. First and foremost, I run the risk of not securing a first-round bye.
Yep.
If Boise State ends up in front of me, so the fact there is only a margin of 3 spots between 12 with Boise State and BYU at 9 is ridiculous. He continues, I'm sitting there behind Texas, Penn State. I'm also sitting there behind Tennessee. Texas and Penn State don't have a win against a top 25 team. I have 2. And guess what? I, BYU, haven't lost. So if I'm BYU, McElroy continues, I'm a little frustrated with how this has shaken out, end quote.
He was like mocked a little bit on the set for saying that. But hey, he's spitting facts right there. He's spitting facts. What? So just because you're Texas, you get ahead there? Like just because you're Penn State? What have you actually done?
If the committee wanted to cite,
what have you actually done on the field?
Like, okay.
Who have you actually played?
Texas has destroyed everybody except for Georgia. Clearly, Texas is an elite college football team. I'm okay with Texas.
I'm okay with Texas
receiving the eye test treatment.
Sure.
I'm not okay with
not Penn State.
Indiana receiving the eye test treatment and Penn State not being being given the liberty of surviving Bowling Green and USC. And they're number 6?
BYU should be ranked ahead of Miami. That's not going to be a popular take because they have Cam Ward. They have 1 win. It's 22 Louisville. BYU has 2 wins inside the top 20. This is tough. Okay, other reaction from national media. Nicole Arbeck. Okay, Texas being ranked 4 spots ahead of BYU, considering the Cougs' wins over SMU and Kansas State is surprising. Both those wins are better than any win Texas has. That is true. I am okay given what Texas has looked like. I'm actually okay with eye test on that one. But
Texas brings back a majority of the team that made the college football playoff last year.
Right. They're a proven commodity.
They're a good team.
Like, that one I'm okay with. I'm not okay with Penn State. I'm not okay with Miami. I'm definitely not okay with Indiana. Tennessee, I'm okay with. They've beaten Alabama, which is a better win than what BYU has now.
Sure. They lost to Arkansas, which is not a great loss.
Right.
Arkansas's middle of the pack SEC.
Right. And remember how close BYU is to not being in this conversation with Oklahoma State. They needed like a miracle. I value any kind of win, and if you lose a close one here but you make up for it with a great win, great. Tennessee has a better win than BYU has at the moment, but BYU has 2 top 20 wins. So I could see an argument for Tennessee too. Yeah, SEC Big Ten got a lot of love, which was to be expected.
Adam Rittenberg at ESPN Rittenberg posted on X, agree with Greg McElroy on BYU. Cougars should be getting way more credit for the SMU win and the K-State blowout.
Yeah.
Those are better wins than Texas or Penn State has.
And Indiana.
I feel like the ideal scenario here for BYU, if we were to re-rank this thing, is if BYU showed up at number 7, we would have no issue.
Yeah, no issue.
No issue.
Yeah.
I mean, we might say, well,
could have been 6.
Miami and Texas and Tennessee, like there's a case for BYU against those teams for sure. But if BYU were ahead of Penn State and Indiana, I think we'd all be collectively fine. Would we not?
Yeah, I think so. Brandon Walker of Barstool Sports. Everybody's saying Indiana needs more respect. What about BYU, who has 2 good wins to Indiana's 0? There's no world that Indiana should be above BYU, which is wild. So BYU is the front runner. Is the 4 seed projected? Oh, by the way, McElroy mentioned it. It's a great point to bring up. Boise State's only 3 spots behind. Could the Big 12 champ actually be the 5 seed and not get a bye? Because Boise State's not going to play anybody the rest of the way.
I went into last night believing that surely, the committee will value 2 ranked wins for BYU.
I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
They're going to value it. The strength of record is so strong, BYU's 2 impressive wins are going to matter. And they didn't really. They didn't really.
Like, would BYU be number 9 if they had 0 ranked wins like this? Did those wins even matter?
If BYU...
Would they be number 9 without SMU and Kansas State?
Had 0 ranked wins,
if they played Buffalo and Cal, would they be in the same spot?
They'd probably be 11 to 13. Based on what has happened here.
Notre Dame and Alabama would be out of them?
Maybe. Well, BYU hasn't played anybody. That's not an argument.
But neither is Indiana.
BYU has played teams, and they beat them. And they won at SMU, and they embarrassed Kansas State. But they survived it. They played a close game with Baylor and Oklahoma State. They won.
Here's what I hope. Here's what I hope happens. That BYU goes, they still don't believe in us.
Yes.
They still don't believe.
That is the silver lining.
They go up to Salt Lake. They kick butt. They come back and beat Kansas at ASU, which is a tough game as well. Houston, you go to the Big 12 title game. You win that, boom. You are number 3 or 4 seed, and all is fine.
4 seed
you
at worst.
Control your own destiny.
BYU controls their own destiny to be the 4 seed in the college football playoff.
Went out.
Pressure's on. 5 Super Bowls remaining. You win them all, you're the 4 seed at worst in the college football playoff. But yes, that is the silver lining.
This cannot be a one heading to Hawaii. Oh, we didn't get what we wanted. We're disappointed. Now we fizzle out. They cannot be that.
No.
It cannot be that. No Luke Staley injury. Like, BYU needs to go up, not down off this. Up, up, up.
BYU, when they are perturbed this season,
is 8-0.
have performed extremely well in those specific games. The trap game was Oklahoma State. They survived it.
Yeah.
All the national media was all about BYU that week, and that's tough to handle. That was not we're disrespected. That was BYU's finally respected, and they survived it. Now they're perturbed again, and they have performed well in these situations.
Bothered Brigham.
Yes.
It's alliteration.
Yes.
Bothered Brigham.
It's a good thing.
Hopefully show up.
Our question of the day: was BYU disrespected by being ranked number 9 in the first college football playoff poll? Andrew Smith 94 on Instagram says yes, and I love it going into the Utah game. This is just what BYU needed.
Keep winning and it'll be fine, but it's just hard. You wanted space for a potential loss if there's one there.